This lesson is going to give you 5 different things that you need to remember. If you pay attention and jot down some notes as we're doing it, I'm sure you'll have it. What is the center of a circle? That one's pretty easy. You should know that one here in just a little bit of time. What is a radius of a circle? That one, hopefully you know. If not, you will. What is a diameter of a circle? The chord might be a little new, but it's not very difficult. And then the 5th one, what is the circumference of a circle? I won't show you how to find it. We'll just talk about what it is. And the next lesson is where we'll get into the details of finding the actual circumference. So we know that a circle is, perfectly round, and it all happens to be coming out from the center right here. This is exactly in the middle of this circle as best as I could estimate here. And what it means is from the center to the edge of the outside of the circle is 4 inches. And so the center is in the exact center of the circle. It's not going to be a little bit shifted. The center can't be here, can't be here, here, or here. It's got to be exactly in the center of the circle. So now that we've actually used the term itself to define it, we'll move on. But basically, I mean, you should know that the center of a circle is in the exact middle of it. Now, the radius. The radius is actually a line segment, and it goes from any spot on the outside of the circle. Okay? But it has to go and touch directly to the center of the circle. So that's why we started with the center. And we're going to say that this radius here is 4 inches. We could go and put another radius on the circle. As you can see here, the new radius is 4 inches also, the exact same length that this first radius was. So now we've got 2 radiuses. Some people will say the plural of a radius is radiuses. Others will say it's radii. You'll hear me going back and forth. I've used them interchangeably, and hey, it's in math books both ways too. But here we are. The new radius is 4 inches from the outside of the circle to the center of the circle. We can put another radius in right here if we wanted to. Still 4 inches because it's the same circle. Same circle, put another radius, and it's going to be the same length. I think you're getting the idea of it. No matter where you draw a radius on the circle, it will always be 4 inches. So the radii of a circle will always be the same length. This radius is the same as its previous one, and to its previous one. And we could back all the way up. Once you know the length of one radius, you know the length of every single radius of that circle. And that's very, very powerful to know that. So if you can just remember, hey, if I know one radius, I know how much all of them are. And hopefully being able to see it flip on the screen like this will kind of lock it into your long-term memory there. If not, a little bit of practice and it'll get there. What's next? What about a diameter? A diameter is a little bit different. It's where it touches the outside of the circle, so it's right here on the edge, and it goes to the other edge of a circle, but it has to go through the center. So this whole diameter of the circle, when it touches both edges of a circle and it goes through the center, we call it a diameter, and it's 10 centimeters. So how many diameters do you see here? Well, let me just get my highlighter out here. I left it color-coded. This yellow highlighter is going to cover this red line. And let's ask ourselves a couple of questions. Does this red line go through the center? Yes. It's not marked, but basically from what we can tell, this is the center. Normally in math problems, we'll tell you that this point right here would be like point M or point O or some point, and we would designate it as the center, so we would tell you that it's going through the center. But is it touching both edges of the circle and going through the center in a straight line? Yes. So that's a diameter. That's 1. The blue line, though, it's doing the exact same thing. And so that's a diameter. And here's the 3rd diameter. And so, yeah, I had it color-coded here. Each line color was its own diameter. It'd be great if geometry problems would do that for us, but most of the time it's going to be like this. And what I'm asking you is do you see the 6 radii, or do you see the 3 diameters? So let's take a look at the radius here. Sorry about that. And let's take a look at this one diameter right here. It goes through the center and it touches both sides of the circle. So it's on the edge of the circle. So that's one diameter. Here's the second diameter. And here is the third diameter. Now, that takes care of the three diameters that we were hoping to see. However, it said, do you see the six radii? Well, if you're seeing that, that's because you're still focused on this. Here's the center, and it goes out to the outer edge. So that's one radii. Let's switch to a different color here. Here's the second radii, the second radius. The third radius with a crooked highlighter line there. Here's the fourth radii. And let's go back to the pinkish one. And now we'll use the blue again. So they're interchangeable as far as how you notice them. But the radius is from the center to the outer edge. It's like half of a diameter exactly. The diameter is through the center and it touches both edges. So just be aware that they're both existing together, and it just depends how you train your brain to look at it in the moment. So here's a radius here that's in blue, but if I added this yellow radius to this blue radius, suddenly it would become a diameter. And that's something that you've got to keep in mind. There is the length of two radiuses, or two radii, like this red 2-inch radius. If this is a radius, how long is the blue radius? Well, because it's in the same circle and the red radius is 2 inches, then the blue radius has to be 2 inches. So then we could also go ahead and use this information going, well, how long is the diameter of the circle? Well, the diameter is just the two radiuses put together, or twice the length of any radius. So 2 inches plus 2 inches is 4 inches. So how long is the diameter of the circle? It's 4 inches. If you want to know how long the radius is, it's 2 inches. That's the biggest issue that I've seen on people that have struggled finding the circumference and area of circles is just failing to know the difference between a radius and diameter, or they get sloppy and they make an easy mistake. Let's take a look at the other part that we have to do. Understanding the parts of a circle. We're not quite done yet, and as I just had spoken, these are the two biggest categories. You either don't understand the parts of the circle, or you have difficulties using the formula for the circle. So we're going to focus on the first one today, and I'm going to show you one other trick that gets in a person's way a lot of times. Let's say that we are given some information, and they say, hey, I need you to go find the diameter of a circle that has a radius of 3 inches. Well, you could draw a circle on your paper, and you could go, well, radius is from the center to the edge, so that's a radius, and that's 3 inches. What is the diameter? Well, diameter is basically two radius put together, and this one would also be 3 inches. So 3 inches plus 3 inches would be 6 inches, and we're done. If we came over here and we looked at this situation, let me just take that off of there. There we go. Then what you notice is that instead of being given the radius, we're given the diameter. So just go ahead and draw a circle on your paper and go, this is the diameter, and the whole thing is 5 kilometers. Well, a radius is half of the diameter. And if this is the radius, what's half of 5? Well, half of it is 2.5, which would make this one 2.5. If I added these two radiuses together, would it equal 5 kilometers? Yes, so the radius is 2.5 kilometers. Sometimes we'll give it to you in a circle, other times we'll just be giving you this piece of information down here and expecting you to be able to see it in your head or to draw it on a piece of scratch paper to find the answer. but that's what you're going to be facing with a lot of the problems. You'll need this skill. And one other thing that we will do to make it a little bit more difficult for you is we'll use chords. We're not talking about guitar chords or anything like that. They're smaller line segments. They're inside. They touch the circle's edge twice. See how it touches it twice there? But it does not go through the center. And let me put the center in blue. Here's the center right there in blue. So a chord is like a smaller little line segment. It's usually just going to get in the way for what you need to know for 7th and 8th grade math. You'll have other things to do with chords and circles once you get into high school, but you don't need to know anything other than the fact that it's a chord for right now. The diameter goes through the center, the radius has to touch the center, and that's the big difference between a chord and a diameter, is that it doesn't go through the center. So that should get you up and running. Let's get you through a few practice exercises, and then we'll learn how to find the circumference of a circle. Oh, almost forgot. What is a circumference? Basically, you remember how perimeter, you just add up the four sides of a rectangle or a square. 5 plus 5 is 10, and 2 plus 2 is 4, so we'd say the perimeter is 14 inches. You could also use the formula 2L plus 2W to get 14 inches. Well, all that circumference is how far around the circle is it? Basically, how far around. So if I started right here and I brought my tape measure around and I measured this whole circle, by the time I got back to my starting place, how many inches is it going to take to find the circumference? If you know the radius is 4 inches, you're done. This is going to be the formula that we're going to use. Circumference is the C. 2 and pi, you understand what it'll be, and then basically we just plug that 4 right in for this r right here, and you would be done. So that's how we're going to find the circumference, but let's get the exercises using the radius and diameters first.